Welcome back to All in One, ladies and gentlemen. This is the podcast where we keep it real, we keep it authentic. Today, we're just going to jump straight into the topic. We're talking about what do you do when your plan fails? When plan A fails, do you have a plan B? What about a plan C? Did you get the D or D? I don't know. What we going to do? What we going to do? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's get to it.
I cannot be mature.
And that's why I love it. You know what I'm talking about? So shit. What do you do when your plan fail though? For real?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. Like, it's like, I made a plan and then my plan got terminated early. So, yeah, I have to do like my plan. I should have had a plan B, but I actually did not make a plan B. My plan, or no, let me take that back. I had a plan B. However, my plan B was not supposed to start. Was not supposed to start immediately. It unfortunately has to start immediately. So I have to like really work hard on that plan B. Or that's what I feel like I have to work hard on that plan B. I don't know. I probably don't. But my head and my heart goes into two different directions because of the type of person that I am. I say, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to get to this point. However, there's another part of me that says, well, you have to do this, which is like, you have to make money. You have to pay your bills right now. So you have to make changes, because of those things. And I don't know, it's probably just that mindset of how we all grew up for the most part and what we're taught, the way we're taught to make things happen, And I think that's also a good point, thinking about like when people don't follow their dreams, People have these goals or dreams that they aspire in their lives and they don't take the chance on it because we're taught early on, you gotta pay your bills, you gotta make money to do that. And you, sometimes you have to like do things you don't want to do to get to the thing that you want to do. It's like, that don't make sense.
It's called sacrifices, but
Yeah.
it's all good.
But yeah, basically, yeah, that. So it's for me, I would say it's definitely harder when you feel like you have to make some sacrifices that you didn't want to make that's not on your timeline. So I'm trying to navigate through that. I think that's hard to navigate through sometimes. You got to think about your circle, your supporters, not supporters, coming up with different scenarios of how to even get through those things. I don't know.
Okay. I
What do
see
you
where you're
think?
going. Well, for me, what to do when the plan fails?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it all starts with what I'm saying, the 5 Ps, right? What do you call it? The proper prevent what is it? How did it go? Damn, I'm drawing a blank.
The 5 P.
Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Let me say that again. Proper preparation prevents piss poor performance, is what we used to say, right? So if you prepare for the worst, you hope
Okay.
for the all right, you hope for the best, but you plan for the worst. Right?
Okay.
All right. So what is the worst that can happen in any scenario? And this is just me bringing in both military strategic planning as well as MBA and other certifications where disaster recovery was always a thing for us. So
Mhm.
you always think farther out. What's the worst that can happen? And if this worst case scenario happens, am I prepared? How will I survive through this time period? Things of that nature. So you're always looking farther out past 5 years if you can. And I get it. Most times you put in a situation where it's right here, right now.
Mhm.
What I'm saying? It's like it happened in a flash. It it was an accident. Something happened, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it might have been, it came unexpectedly.
Right.
So if you didn't plan or you didn't have that contingency plan in place, what do you do? So then we become reactive, right? So if you don't have a plan, then you react. It's just natural order of things.
Mm.
So again, what I would say is to think about whatever situation you're in and try to look at least 5 years down the road. Where do I see myself 5 years from now? Do I want to be doing this, what I'm currently doing, or do I want to progress and do something differently? I mean, there's also an option to regress, but that's for a different podcast. Uh, so if you have a plan, then obviously you can go to plan B. All right. We should be able to execute this if this happens. That's why they say that those rainy day funds they talk about it. Today, it's hard as hell to try to keep a rainy day fund if you can. If not, you got to find a hustle that's going to be able to offset, what it is that you're doing.
I
So,
literally just saw a post this morning that said it said, "What am I supposed to do with my rainy day fund when it's always raining?"
right. That part.
I'm like, "Bro, facts. It's always raining."
My rainy day fund is like the boondocks. I bet you wish you had a raincoat right now.
Oh my
You know what I'm
god,
saying?
no, for
Like, this
real.
nigga went to get a motherfucking raincoat. So yeah, that
Oh,
rainy day fund it's tough.
yeah.
So especially today when everything is expensive, hell, like gas is just as much as going out on a date nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So shit. What do you do? How do you recover? How do you move about? Because what do you fall back on?
Right.
Who can you lean on? So now it's time to see the ones who really support you, right? Versus the ones who say they
Mhm.
support you. They'll show up and they'll be there for you,
Yeah.
and you have to look at, for me, this is something that I had to do when I was going through a similar situation where my plan A, B, and C fell through. And it's like, how the fuck did this happen?
Wow.
Like I got contingency plans, but nothing's going in the order in which I thought they were going to go in.
Mhm.
So then it comes time to, it's like, okay, you got to lean on certain people or people that you've been showing up for A1 since day one. And then you want to see how they show up for you as well. And then you realize that they throw you a lifeboat, but then when you get out in the water and you get away from them, you realize that damn boat got holes in it.
Mm.
It looks great from the outside,
Right.
but from the inside, I'm fucking sinking. You taking away from me just as much as you know what I'm saying, as I've been giving to you
Mhm.
when you're supposed to be helping me. It makes it look like you're helping me, but you're not.
But you're not, right.
So how do you distinguish yourself? Cut yourself off from those people. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll see these people now more than ever. Now that you know what I'm saying, that you may be in that vulnerable state where you need them.
Mhm.
And it's go time. Who's clutch? Who's gonna show up? And who just talks a good game?
Right.
Now it's time to find out. So I'll kick it back over to you. What's your thought process on that?
Yeah, no, that's a big deal to think about the people that may or may not be in your corner, because I've been actually the past like 2 months, I would say, I've literally been thinking about that, like who's in my corner. Because I've been feeling like kinda outcast in a way. Like, I feel like the only way I can, like, get a few people is, like, if I reach out to a few people, like, not the other way around, kinda thing. And so I've been, like, literally listing everybody that, like, I feel like I have a connection to, and then I'm kinda, like, um, putting them on a scale, really. And I spoke to one person about it, and they were saying they don't think that that's right when you feel like you can do everything with one person, that doesn't make them a friend. And another person was like, "No, I don't talk to all my friends the same, or I don't treat all my friends the same." And I'm like, to me, I feel like you have your friends that are categorized. Like, I don't feel like everybody should be put in the same category. Like, and so I don't think that doesn't make them a friend. It's just like these friends aren't gonna be valuable in this area, or they may not be able to help in this area, or they may not believe the same thing that you do. Like, I'm not gonna go to a friend of mine who's not a Christian and be like, I need somebody to pray for me. Like, you know, that doesn't
Right.
mean that they're not my friend. They don't, I just won't go to them for that because they don't have the same belief that I have. They don't think in the same way that I think, in those certain cases. So I have been like categorizing my friends. I wasn't doing it before, but or at least I wasn't doing that out loud. It was kind of like one of those like natural things. It's like you've grown to know people on certain levels, so this is where they are in that level or whatever.
Gotcha.
And so I've just been like kind of thinking about that lately, and I've had a very stressful couple of months trying to navigate through all of these different relationships, and I'm trying to do it one at a time. Um I mean, my circle is like
Dot.
it's like it's like a little eyeball.
Yes.
But, the people that I do have in my circle, I'm trying to do it, like, one at a time, like, reaching out and trying to, like, talk to them about certain things, mend things if need to be mend, or, letting them know, like, what's going on with me, trying to figure out what's going on with them, and, like, kinda seeing, like, where we are or whatever. And, I've only gotten to talk to 3 people so far, but, um one person that I spoke to, that did not go well at all. Like, that conversation didn't go well. Um, they were not they wanted empathy, and um they wanted basically me to, like, do all of the work, but there was no,
Reciprocity.
reciprocity, like, at all. Um, I was like, "I'm wrong. This is why I'm wrong. I apologize for being wrong, and I have to figure out I don't have an answer immediately how to do it, how to make it right, but I will work on making it right." Like, that's where my head was at. Um, and I didn't get that in return. It was not as a matter of fact, they actually told me they didn't care, and, that was a big deal for me. It's a really big deal. I, like, kinda let it go to, like, marinate on it or whatever. But then when I went back to try to, like, figure out what was what, it was kinda like it was ignored. Like, there was nothing to talk about it, and so that added on to the other feelings that I was feeling before. It was like, you can't pretend like this conversation didn't happen? So it's definitely making me think some things, um, that I didn't wanna think before, but, I mean,
Yeah.
so it's just keeping my eye open. Honestly, it was good because it kept my eye open on, like, basically everybody else to be like, these are things you need to be looking out for, you need to be thinking about, not everything's gonna be all peaches and cream with everybody. You have to like really, really focus on who's in your corner and really
Exactly.
ask the tough questions. It's like I know for a fact right now, like if I had a friend struggling financially, like I would not be able to help them, you know. So I wouldn't be that friend to be able to do that. But like, you want me to give you a hug and talk to you all day? You want to scream, yell, and cry? I can be that friend for you. Um, but can you like what are you for me? Like, am I just gonna be the person that's always just pouring in? Like, is that what it's gonna be? Or, you know, because I've done that before and this is why I'm where I am right now about like who's in my circle because I know that that is something that I do.
Right.
And it's also a part of the fact that I'm like a huge people pleaser and I know that about myself and I've been trying to stop doing that because I know I don't like think about myself in a lot of circumstances. I don't. I overthink about everybody else and forget myself in the process. So thinking about who's in your circle and really paying attention to that is important. And that's what I'm doing right now.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Um, I like the fact that you're actually sitting here and you're trying to make amends with people, especially if you value the relationship. I commend you on that. Me, I was the opposite. When I was going through mine, man, I'm chopping legs, heads. I hit him in the arm, leg, arm, head. Hey, I'm chopping it all off, bro. I was cutting folks off left and right. They didn't hear from me. Hey, what going on? If I ain't fuck
Mm,
with you, I ain't fuck with you. I don't respond to your calls. I don't respond to your text message. If I responded to you, then you know I'm still good. You can let these other folk know if you want to. Hey, that's up to you. But
mm,
I don't owe nobody an explanation for how I move. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? That's just me standing in my true authenticity. I gives a fuck less about what anybody thinks
You sound like
because
my sister. My sister said the same thing. She was like, "I got friends. I haven't talked to them in years, but I bet you if I pick up the phone right now and I say, 'Hey, girl, what's up?' They gonna be like, nothing happened." She was like, "If you got friends who care, they care regardless. If you got friends that don't care, they don't care, and they're not your friend." That's what my
exactly.
sister was saying.
Your real friends will respect your boundaries and they would accept your growth.
Mhm.
The ones who don't, they try to shame you for something that you're actually doing or make you feel bad about the fact that you cut them off. And it's only because they are not receiving that energy that they once had. I've had a couple people pop up on me. First of all, how the fuck you know where I'm at? Second of all, the fuck is you doing here? Like I ain't been
Mhm.
answering you ain't been answering my phone calls.
Right. Wonder why.
Again, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
You're like, hey, if I'm not answering your phone calls, motherfucker, I don't want to talk to you. I've
Mhm.
said it before in the previous podcast. I say it again. Just because you want to talk to me does not mean that I want to talk to you.
Yeah.
And it's just, you have to respect that boundary. So if people do not respect your boundaries, that's the main person you need to cut off. And I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Going back to what you're saying about having your friends and putting them in categories, I respect that as well because, and you even elaborated on it, stating that, you know what I'm saying, certain friends have certain strengths. Let's just do
Mhm.
it that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I know who to turn to for certain things and I know who I cannot turn to for certain things. And
Right.
if I come to you knowing that you're in that same situation or worse, then that makes me a fucked up friend.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you just sit up here and told me how you were struggling. And it's like, man, fuck your shit. What you can do for
What you
me?
gonna do for me?
Fuck out of here. Excuse my language, man. I know
Yeah.
I'm throwing F-bombs and stuff all around today, but it's like getting back to the original subject, like, you know what I'm saying? So, cause this is our friends. So you have to learn to adapt, as we were saying, like when the plans fall apart, You know what I'm saying? Like, where do you go from here? So the first
Mhm.
step is to try to lean on the people that's close to you. You know what I'm saying? And if those people find themselves to not be the squares in your circle,
Mhm.
and I actually had a bar on that. It was like, I got a couple, I got, man, I got squares in my circle.
Mm.
That's a couple of solid corners I can lean on. You know what I'm saying? And then I go from there. But it's like, if you don't have squares inside your circle, that you don't have people that you can lean on, who really in your circle? Are they really
Yeah.
solid? You know what I'm saying? So it's like we said before, iron sharpens iron. So you keep the right people around you, and eventually will start to move in that same, you know what I'm saying, in the right direction. You'll figure out what it is that you need to do, or at least the path forward. So even if you can't do something monetarily for me, there are other things that can be done. You know what I'm saying? Especially if I'm in a stage where you know I need help.
Right.
Well, you know, there's other things, like I said, there's other things that can be done. We got friends that get stamps and they won't even try and feed nobody. I know people like that.
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like it ain't costing you, really. You know what I'm saying? Technically it's coming out your pot, but you ain't gonna use the shit. You know, no way. Help somebody else out. But a lot of people don't feel that way. You have to look out for your circle to see who feels like they're putting themselves on a pedestal by helping you,
Mhm.
aka placing attachments on anything that they do for you. Um, and this is going back. I think we said this once before about somebody giving out a birthday gift, and they were talking about all the stuff that they had to do to give you to get that gift.
Mhm.
So if you're in a time of need and somebody's talking to you and making them pumping themselves up to make you look at what it is that they're doing, they just always wanted that position. They always wanted that spotlight, and they taking the opportunity, because if they was a real friend, they would have never brought the shit up. It,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, what you tell me as a real friend stays between me and you. Even amongst our friend groups, if they heard about it, they didn't hear about it from me. You know what I'm saying? They heard about it from, you know what I'm saying, whoever else you might have told, and them folks talking. But it's like, that's one of the main things, is like, friends got to keep friends' secrets. And by that, I mean not shit that's illegal type stuff and that's gonna get somebody else. And you know what I'm saying? I mean, like, if you're vulnerable, you're in the States and you just needed somebody to talk to, you needed somebody to vent to. I took that. That stays between us. That doesn't get disseminated between everyone else within the group. And if it does, you're not my friend. Cause now I can't trust you with nothing. So after the friend groups, what's the next step? You know, where do you go from there? So if you didn't have a plan, and I hate to say it this way, because I don't mean for it to sound harsh, but
Right.
these are things that we used to say in the military primarily, and it hardened the fuck out of me. I'm just gonna be honest about it, right? Is that if you plan, if you know how it goes. If you
Right.
fail to
Fail to
plan,
plan, you plan to fail.
then plan to fail. So what was your steps? What's next? You have so much that you can do. It's just that a lot of times what we end up doing is putting on these blinders based upon what we've been taught. Got to get, like you said before, got to get that job, got to do this, got bills to pay.
Yeah.
So we're in this confinement already. But in reality, follow your dreams, do what you love, because doing what you love and you can find a way to monetize it, well, you're not working. You're just doing what you love and getting paid for it. Make it make sense, man. Why,
Mhm.
why struggle? Why put yourself back in that rat race when
Yeah.
when right now you have the freedom of social media? You know, you have the freedom of online stores, digital products. If you make something one time,
Right.
and it's a popular product, it's going to continue to sell. So ask yourself, what is that one thing that people need, they want, that I can produce? What is it? And I mean, that's not just a one-on-one, that goes across the board to anyone who's listening.
Mhm.
You have something within you. And I know earlier we were talking, and I don't know if you believe in a lot of things. I believe in these things called angel messages.
Okay.
Right. And it's like I've been thinking this thing all week, all month, half of the year. And all of a sudden, some stranger out of nowhere, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's in a song, whether it's somebody in public that we just happen to come across, they say the exact same thing that you were thinking. They're doing exactly what it is that you want to be doing. They're saying the things that you thought is right there in your face.
Mhm.
That's confirmation to you that you are supported in doing whatever it is that you want to do. You just got to get off your ass and do it.
Right. Yeah, that makes me think about, I think I told you before, my sister was telling me she had found out that I was writing these books, and she was like, "Wait, this like sounds kind of similar, not exactly the same, but it sounds, in the vicinity of like my thinking." And she was like, "It makes sense because we're siblings, we grew up the same." So she was like, but I really want that for you. So she was like, I'm gonna step back and let you do that. She was like, I'm not even gonna produce anything, until after you do that. And so I thought that was pretty dope of her because, most people won't do that.
Right. Right.
Most people be like, oh, I got the same idea. Good luck, girl.
Right. Right. Game on. Competition. First to the finish line.
No, seriously. And it's so crazy because now you saying that is kind of making me think like, I was literally just told this last month, and I still haven't done anything. And it's
Right.
like, what is it gonna take for you to sit your behind down at the computer and finish these dang books that you've been working on for years and you are almost done? Like,
Right.
what is it gonna take?
A
You finish
towel.
school, you have the education, you know the information, and you still won't put it down on paper.
Right. In spirituality, they call that a tower moment. Something has to happen in order to shake up things, in order for you to make the decision that you need to make.
Yeah.
You know, um, it happens all the time. We
Mhm.
we look at it like it's a bad thing, and sometimes it's protection. Sometimes it's, hey, I'm doing this for you. It's God talking to you. I put this roadblock in front of you because I know that you are not going to do it on your own. So take the message,
Mhm.
take some time to relax, gather your thoughts, you know, sit in it, but
Mhm.
do not allow it to consume you.
Right, 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 right.
Process it, because this is where the journey really begins.
Mhm.
Because it's like, look, all right, all this bad stuff don't happen. I'm at rock bottom. Shit, ain't nowhere to go but up from here.
Mhm.
Keep the positive mentality. We're moving up. This is for my better. It's for my betterment. It's, you know what I'm saying? Better good. Onward and forward. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? Upward.
Right.
Keep it moving. Because now I get to focus on what I want to focus on.
Mhm.
Whatever that might be.
Right.
Start that YouTube channel.
Mhm.
Focus on creative, you know what I'm saying? Whatever your content. Whatever it might be. To whomever is listening. If you're going through that moment, It happens to all of us, believe it or not, hell. I've been in a situation where I owned 2 houses. And get you some of this shit. Rented a storage unit and slept in my fucking car. Owned 2 properties. Sleeping like I'm fucking homeless. It happened. It damn so happened. But I accept that. Because that moment for me propelled me forward. It
Right.
let me know exactly that, hey, you used to have a plan. You stopped following that plan. You stopped making contingency plans. And that's why you're here
Mhm.
right now. So you got to have that moment of self-reflection. Why am I here?
Right.
What did I do to deserve this? And a lot of times we answer what's and not whys. I've talked about this before on previous podcasts. If you're answering, if your why did I get here points to anyone other than yourself, that was a what. It was not a why. The whys are internal. They are within. Why am I so mad? Why did I get myself into this situation? How did I allow this to happen?
Mhm.
I allowed this to happen because I allowed other people to come into my life like a damn Trojan horse, install fucking programs that I didn't give them authority to install and start calling their own fucking plays. That's why I got here. So individually, we have to do the same thing, that self-reflection, and look in the mirror and point back at self. But again, that's where the healing starts. You're at the bottom. You hit rock bottom. Nowhere to go but up. You
Right.
you are on a solid foundation that you can build on. And now you saw, going back to what we just talked about, who we can cut out of our circle because they don't
Mhm.
belong to be here, because everybody can't go on a journey.
Right.
Talk to me.
Yeah. I mean, I think the main thing that I know what I have to focus on too is like the things that I can control. Um, because I look at the things that have happened and I'm like, there's nothing I can really do about those things. And dwelling on it is like, okay, how is that going to benefit you? It's like you know where the mistake was made, you know what you did wrong, and now you have to like move forward. And I like how you say, yeah, you can dwell on it or you can think about it or process it or whatever. Not dwell on it, but think about it and meditate on it or whatever like that, but don't stay there. You kind of have to like pick yourself up and to move forward. I think it's important though for people to realize that you probably do want to at least uh meditate about it and think about it or whatever. Don't just like be like, oh, okay, it never happened and then move on because then it's like, okay, wake up. If this happens again, or if something, whatever puts you into this position, it doesn't even have to be the exact same thing. It just be something that takes you off course, then what do? You can't just keep pretending that things don't happen. That's why it's interesting when people say like they'll get a divorce or, leave their spouse or whatever the case. And they're like, oh, I'm just okay or whatever. I'm like, but did you get a chance to grieve that situation? Did you like really clear that situation out first? Because that is a real thing. You can't just be like, oh, no, I'm just going to jump from this relationship. I'm good. I'm okay. And then jump into another one. Like, no, you need to like think about it. What went right? What went wrong? What are you going to do differently? What do you think you need? What did you get from it? What did you learn from it? Process like, yeah, it's technically a loss. You are grieving the death of this thing, even if this person is still alive, because at the end of the day, that was still a part of your life, you know? Some things in there you did learn from, whether or not it was something like you learned positive. You probably learned, I'm never going to do this again. I'm never going to move in this way again. I'm never going to live this way again. That's still learning, you know? Um, but then again, not just soaking in it and sitting in it and woe is me forever, because that doesn't help either, you know? Picking yourself up and knowing how to do it. And if you do have that support system, that actually does make that easier. Obviously, if you don't have support, then it does kind of make that thing a little bit harder. So if you can find support, get support, um, get help, and, oh my goodness, it just made me think of something else. Just recently, on Monday actually, I had, met up with, I had an appointment with one of my, girls, and, she I mean, her face was so beautiful, like, beautifully done with makeup. Now she's a person that you go to for, like, primping your body. And, I'm like, "Nobody goes to work like this." Like, I'm sorry. Wearing makeup is one thing, doing having your face look pretty, there's levels to this. This girl looked like she was going to somebody's ball, like this extravagant wedding or something. I don't even know, but she definitely didn't look like she needed to be with me, like, at all. And I'm looking at her and I can't even stop looking at her. I'm just like, yo, your face. I'm like, did you do that? Like, you must have done that. There's no way I would pay hundreds of dollars to get my face to look like that if I wanted to wear makeup. Um, like, it's worth it. Like, what she did to herself. And, she was like, "No, I did it myself." And I was like, "I figured, because I know you ain't pay no money to get your your face done like that, to come here and work on women, you know?" Um, she was like, "Yeah, no, that's like my other business." I said, "Your other business? So what are you doing here?" And she was like, "Well, I mean, this is like my job." And then I was like, again, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm looking at you and, like, you should be, like, doing makeup for, like, movies and screens and all that. Like, you are, I mean, like, this is, like, top notch. Like, and she's like, "Oh, thank you." And I'm like, "No, no, seriously. Like, I'm not even a makeup fan like that. Like, I think people should just wear regular regular schmegular, if they're gonna do anything, do something light, That's just me personally. I you know, and so, I was like, "But with your face, the way that it looks." I'm like, "You need to be somewhere else." I don't know. And she was, like, just telling me, like, how she's, like, been trying to get this business going, and she has all these things, and she wants to teach, um how to do makeup like that for people to become those type of artists, where they, like, are personal artists for, like, movie stars and all the other stuff like that. And I'm like, "Girl." And she was like, she met some lady who owns this huge multi-million dollar, like, beauty company that's in California, and she had found her or something and took her out somewhere in a mansion party last weekend. And I'm like, "Okay, again, why are you here? All this stuff you're telling me is not adding up.
Don't add up.
It's not adding up." And so she's, like, telling me all these woe is me situations that she's going through, and I'm like, "You need to just stop all of that." Like, it's so crazy. I say, "I'm preaching to you, but I'm preaching to myself." I say, "When you have gifts and you know that you have these gifts, That's what you're supposed to be doing. God doesn't bless you with gifts so you can be doing somebody else's work. Like, that's not how that works. You're blessed with your gifts for a reason. You're supposed to actually be using those things. And I was like, I'm guilty of it myself. I was like, I can't even tell you the last time I picked up my paintbrush. And I was like, I'm not typing and I'm not writing. Like, I love to write. I love to write. And I'm not writing and and I'm like, heck, I can't even tell you the last time I really been at the gym. I've been doing these hocus pocus like workouts that's not even what I do. Like, I don't even do these type of things. Like, I'm not even moving the way that I'm moving. And I told her, I said, what that does is that just pulls you back. I said, you're
Right.
being held back. You got this woman out here looking for you, and she a multimillionaire, and she can help you. Like, what are you doing? When that door opens, you do not take advantage of it and say, oh, okay, maybe another opportunity. No, you go through that door. Like, the door is there for you for a reason. So you
Right.
go through it. And you just have to make it happen. And I was like, do you have a circle? And she's like, no, I don't have a circle. All my people are in Atlanta and Georgia and whatever. I said, oh, why are you here? And she was like, oh, because Orlando's big for like makeup industry and all that stuff, which is true. And I was like, oh well, yeah, that's true. You can do a lot there here. You can do a lot in New York and in California. But if
I,
you're looking for probably the cheapest place, I would say Orlando. I would
I
say
got you.
Orlando's probably the cheapest because New York is. We all know what New York is. I got a job opportunity in New York and I was like, absolutely not, because they were going to be basically putting me in the same position that I am in Orlando. Um, Paying me, I think they was like starting off at the Bronx Zoo or Brooklyn Zoo, Bronx Zoo, I think it was. And it was talking about starting me off at like 65. And I was like, okay. But your freaking apartment complex is like $3,000 a month
For a one bedroom shoebox.
for one bedroom. I'm not even joking. I was looking at one bedroom apartments.
I know. I know.
I was like, absolutely not. And I emailed them. I was like, are you going to compensate me for, traveling and moving? And they were like, oh, that's not something that we're offering. And I'm like, oh, no,
Nope.
decline.
Right.
But yeah, and it's going to be the same thing in California. I mean, I've been seeing people talk about gas prices at $8 now in California. So I know it's not obviously, if you had to choose between New York, California, and Orlando, I would definitely choose Orlando.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I told her she need to be working on that, and it's so funny. I'm thinking about it again, and I'm like, I told her, I said, I'm talking to you, but I'm preaching to me too. And and then I have my situation of like, you were supposed to be doing the exact same thing. You're supposed to be doing the exact same thing. And it's funny how like I feel like, God kind of like tells you like, hello, knock, 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 knock. I've been telling you, what do I have to do? I'm about to kick you in the butt. What's happening? Because you're not moving.
That's why they call them tower moments. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? That moment of clarity for you when something just happens out of the blue. Oh, what am I finna do now? Lightning just struck.
Yeah, and I think too, even looking at that, it's like, yeah, I had a plan, but it's like, okay, you have to start your plan a little bit earlier than you anticipated. However, it's like you don't have to like really revert, like create a new plan, you know, um, and go with that. It's better to like have more plans than to just be like, oh, I'm just gonna just wait until the timeline comes that I was supposed to do on this, because that never happens. I mean, I can't tell you how many timelines I've created for my books. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have it finished by this day. Oh, I'm gonna have it finished by this day. I'm gonna have it finished by this day, and the day comes, and it's like, yo, what's happening? Like, I still haven't even finished. I told myself I was gonna have my painting finished before the holidays. Did not happen. And then I was like, "Okay, Imma have my painting finished before school is out." That didn't happen. And then I was like, "Okay, realistically, I will do it. I'll have it finished by the end of the summer." And so I'm like, I'm pushing it back, and it's like, "Why? Just freaking pick up the paintbrush and finish the painting for goodness sake," you know?
It's a thought process. It's like the chase with a relationship. It's like the thought process of doing it makes me all excited, but actually getting up and doing it, eh, not
Right.
not so much. I get that.
Yeah. But it's like, I know I think it's actually doing something and knowing that you need to do something. I think it's really important that you, if you feel strongly about it at least, that you should be doing that thing because something your intuition is I believe is 1000% like of the spirit and it knows more than what you in the flesh know, you know?
Absolutely.
And you would have to listen to it. I can't tell you how many times I've been like, I feel like this is gonna happen, or I feel like I'm supposed to do this, or I feel like I have this feeling or whatever, and then I don't go with it. I ignore it, and the next thing you know, it happens like too many times, and I'm always like, I need to listen to myself. I mean, how many times have we taken a test and we're like, "Oh, this is oh no, that's not the right answer. I think it's this answer. I'm gonna erase that answer." And then the first time it was right, it's like,
Yep.
"Ah,
Yep.
that was the right way." And I knew it was the right one, but something was like that flesh in me was like, "Nope, I
Always
doubt
go
it."
with always go with your first thought, your first mind, as we say down south. Go with your first mind.
Mhm.
Whatever you thinking first, go with it.
Go with it. Right.
It's funny that you say that because I found myself in very similar situations. And what I learned is, for whatever strange, odd, peculiar reason, I seem to work better under pressure.
Oh my God. Yes. Amen.
Why is,
Amen.
and I got just sitting down and thinking about this shit, right? It's like, why is that? It's because I'm so used to the chaos. I can take it all the way back to childhood. It's been chaotic around me ever since. It's like s-
Wow.
where sitting still just don't feel natural.
Oh my God. I swear sometimes I'd be like, "Twin, where have you been?"
But,
I swear. It's so true. It's like you think about every single situation you've literally had to like fight through. You're like, "Oh, I had a whole bunch of stuff going on during that time. That's why." It's like
right,
fight or flight. Like this is what I have to do, and this is when I get stuff done. It's so chaotic. It shouldn't even be that way. It should just be like smooth sailing. Like this is what I know I need to do. I'm gonna do it. You know? It's like, why does it have to be so chaotic in order for you to be like, "Oh, I gotta get up and go. I gotta get moving. Time for me to go. Go time."
right. It's like it's an adrenaline rush, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like the endorphins kick in, and it's like, I gotta have it right now. Let's go get it. You know what I'm saying? I get that way. So
Yeah.
someday, some shit, call it what it is. Some moon cycles,
Right.
I'm energetic as hell. I'm on go.
Mhm.
I'm talking, I'm barely sleeping. I might get 3, 4 hours of sleep and I'm right back up and I'm doing whatever it is. I'm getting stuff accomplished. And then there are other times, yeah, I get to it when I get to it. I'll start something with the intentions of finishing it, and I'll get to about that 80, 85, 90% solution and stop.
Mhm.
It's unfinished. I can't tell you how many verses that I've written, songs, music that I've actually, beats I produced. Some I've gone all the way through. Some I got like a 4-bar loop and I quit. And they fire. Lyric from the lyrics to the beats, they all fire. And I got all the equipment sitting right here. I got the skill sets to actually mixing my own stuff.
Mm.
But what's stopping me? Instead, I'll write something, I'll do a half-ass recording, and I'll send it to somebody who's actually professional. Hey, bro, do something with this. And I gave you half-ass work,
Mm.
and I expect you to do something professional with it. I mean, I'm just pointing this back at me. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
like I know what I do. I know where I could be
Mhm.
because of the doors and the opportunities that have been placed right in front of me, just like you were talking about.
Yeah.
But for whatever reasons, I see the opportunity, but won't take it.
Mhm.
Wide open, won't take the shot. And as they say, you will miss 100%
Yeah.
of every shot that you do not take. You're going to miss it every time.
Yeah.
So going back to what you said, when you are blessed with talent and you're not using it, it's a disservice to yourself,
Mhm.
but it's also like slapping God in the face.
Right. Facts.
Thank you for giving me this, but I don't want it. Get it to my.
Right.
No, no,
Right.
no. Like, so it reminds me, I just got a lot of stuff in the queue. I haven't released anything. I've written a few things,
Mhm.
but I haven't given them the time, energy, and space that they need to mature. So I too can take that accountability and say, hey, look, call it what you. I'm not gonna blame it on my zodiac sign, my Pisces, but I've been known to procrastinate. I'm a big dreamer,
Mhm.
but I've also been known to accomplish some big dreams as well.
Right.
So it's just that it's like when you get focused, when you lock in, and then you start to get that tribe around you that
Mhm.
supports you to let you know that, hey, I see you. I see you.
Yeah.
You're not by yourself. We support each other. Got your back. If you ever need me, I'm here for you. You know what I'm saying? And it goes for a lot of people that's in my inner circle. You know what I'm saying? Which is not very big because I know earlier you was talking about your circle. My shit is a dot, boy. You can take the pencil and drop it. That's my circle. I'm talking like I don't mess with too many people.
Yeah. Same.
So building a
Yeah.
tribe.
Think I definitely have to and I think this goes for anybody. It's like when you do feel like your plans are failing, it's probably just your time to reset. Um and really think about the things that you're actually supposed to be doing. And making sure that they are actually aligned. Um Not spiraling, grounding yourself, feel it, go through it. If you need to write it down, I'm a writer. So obviously I write stuff down. I'm not gonna write down everything. But write down just write down some things that you feel like you're going through, or pray through some things that you feel like you're going through. Come up with how you're gonna move through from point A to point B. Again, reach out to somebody if you feel like you really need to talk to someone. Um, and try not to soak into it alone. I mean, man's not meant to be here alone anyway. So, like, even if you're, your circle is like mine. I said an eyeball. Unc said a pencil.
Dot.
The tip, the pencil dot. Reach out to your little small circle. Um, and start with realistic plans. Not give yourself a whole bunch of things, because I am guilty, guilty, guilty of doing that. I always feel like, I know that I'm creative and I know there's a lot of things I wanna do and I know there's a lot of things that I can do. It's like, "Girl, okay, but you don't have to do all of it at once. Let's just let's start here, and move from this place to this place. Let's give things dates. Let's give realistic dates, you know? Like, for example, I was looking at my, painting is literally sitting in the living room, and I was like, "You know what? Imma realistically give myself not a goal to finish it, but a goal to work on it." And I think that's where I have to start. And so I said I was gonna give myself an hour or 2. I got the time. I guess Imma give myself an hour or 2. I'm gonna work on it today. I'm gonna actually work on it. I got my, paint already ready. I just gotta put it on the, I use I recycle, reuse. So, like, I just cut up boxes that I have when I get deliveries and stuff, and I be using that to put my paint on. Don't judge me.
Right. It's
But
free.
look, let me tell you. Okay. Um, but yeah, I got that all ready. I just gotta get me a cup of water because I use acrylic, and I'm gonna paint. I'm gonna make me something to eat. I'm gonna kinda, like, relax for a second, and that's the goal. The goal is not something that I feel like it's gonna be hard to do, which is like me saying, "Oh, okay, well, you need to finish it by the weekend." That might be hard for me to do, you know? I don't know what tomorrow is gonna feel like for me, or look like for me, you know? So, that's what I mean by making your plan simple. Not perfect, just be clear about what the goal actually is, you know? For me, the goal is actually just to work on it. That's it. That's the only goal. And I feel like, once you actually get into something too, it's just like going when you start working out, it's like the goal is to go this day, go this day, go this day. But, like, you don't really start off hardcore, not unless you're a beast like me sometimes when I when I'm in a gym, I just be like, I don't know what happens to me, but I'm that type of person though. So that's probably why. But it probably won't be the same for you or anybody else, whoever's listening. When you go to the gym, it might be hard and you might be like, "Oh, I can't do this." Do as much as you can. If you can only do 5 push-ups, the goal is to do 5 push-ups. If you feel like you can end up doing more, I always tell people don't be too hard and trying to do more. Like, if you feel like you can do 7, do 7. I hate doing plain numbers, but for me, that's a pusher for me to do more. I'll be
Right.
like, if I say I can do 5 and I end up doing 7, I'm gonna push myself hard to do 10. That's just me. So, like, but that's still a goal, and, it's an achievable goal. So make achievable goals, and I think that you'll pick yourself back up and get back on track.
Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. I think to recap, when things do go awry, plans change suddenly and you don't understand why, or you just find yourself in that situation where you just have to adapt.
Mm,
One of the things that we said is always to adapt and overcome, you know. But when it really comes down to it, it's this right here. Just staying on what you're talking about here. What I wrote down was the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
mm,
So, as you were stating, set the goal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it may be 1,000 mile journey, but you got to take that first step
mhm,
to get to that 1K, right?
right,
So, and then you're going to have obstacles, you're going to have roadblocks, you're going to have moments where things just come out of left field. It's going to happen. It's life. That's why we say life be life, right?
mhm,
When those moments happen, don't change the goal, change the plan. It's the small steps to that 1,000 that's going to, sometimes you can go straight, sometimes you got to go around things. Thing about it is just do not change the goal. Just continue to move forward, to reach those milestones, those small achievements, to get to that final destination, you know? And
Yeah.
you can actually make it as long as you believe you can do it. You can achieve it. The only
Yeah.
person that can stop you is you.
Right. For sure. For sure. And I would say, in closing on my end, I think that sometimes we have to also look at the things that we're going through as like a transition. There's always a transition point in our lives. We move from child, from an infant to a child, from a child or a toddler, from toddler to a child to a teenager, teenager to young adult, and so on and so forth. So it's like we're transitioning all the time. So if something does not go right with your plan, maybe that plan wasn't what it was meant to be in the first place. That's probably not where you were supposed to be in the first place.
Facts.
Um, and yeah, life be lifing. So let's recognize that and move forward, in your transition. Move
Absolutely.
forward in your transition.
Absolutely. Right, all right. That was good.
Oh, that's good.
That was good.
That's cool.
Message. We'll have to do that. Message.
Message.
Oh man. All right. Well, that's been another episode of All in One. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you guys got something for it from this particular episode. As always, remember to support each other as we support you guys as well. That was the what was that website again for the art?
The artistry. The Ariel artistry.
Put it out there for the people. Put it out there for the peoples. You know what I'm saying? So hey, if you guys need art, you really should check out some of her work. She's gonna put it on display on the end of this particular episode. We're actually gonna go ahead and do some thumbnails for her to display some of the art that she's actually has out here. So,
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? We support black businesses and small businesses of all kind.
a
Right? So it's just make sure that we drop this like, you know what I'm saying, drop a heart, drop a comment for us, just let us know, you know what I'm saying, if anything in this podcast today or in this episode stood out to you, drop a link, drop something down in the comments. Just let us know that we touched you in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Pause, no homo, no diddy.
Stop it. Oh my God, I cannot. Oh my God.
Oh, shit.
Yo. Hilarious.
I'm out of here, man. Until next time. How we do it?
We all in.
We all in one. Oh, shit.